Good evening, Gals and Ghouls, and welcome back to another episode of Cryptic Insight. My name is Cedric, this is my girlfriend Jessica, and today we are going to review Halloween Kills. And as always, we're going to hop right into things with the positives about this movie that we really like. And, to start things off, I think a good kind of point of emphasis to start off with this movie is that it is a continuation of Halloween 2018. We don't have to set up any plot or reason as to why Michael Myers is doing what he's doing. We don't have to set up any plot to get us all set up as to why Michael Myers is, killing or why he's out or where he's going. We're going right into the action. We've picked up where we left off. And I know a lot of people sometimes really like kind of having a separate kind of plot line or something to kind of give us a bit more context or something a little different. But I really appreciate that this film, as a direct sequel to 2018, which thus is also a direct continuation of what 2018 was doing, which is being a direct sequel to 78. I feel like it flows really well. I know a lot of people talk about this movie as potentially being like a filler movie, not too much substance or plot. That's a criticism I hear a lot about this film. I can kind of see it. I mean, sure, I guess the logics and the arguments are there that it makes sense to me why people can think that way. But for me, as my girlfriend Jess has always said, sometimes all you need is Michael Myers killing people. That's your plot.
Literally, I've said so many times, I'm like, all you need in a Michael Myers movie, that's what I call it. It's Halloween, but it's a Michael Myers movie, is Michael killing people. That's all you need. You don't need a reason for him killing people. You don't need it.
No. And so, for me, that's a positive because we don't have to waste time, because sometimes a movie can drag on if the plot is taking too long to develop or catch up. And, that's not always the case, but I appreciate that, that we just get right into the action with this movie, and it's awesome. It picks up right where things left off. We go into, I believe it's, if I remember correctly, I believe the movie starts with Cameron walking back from the party, yes. And he finds Hawkins after he has been stabbed. Now, yes, Hawkins was stabbed
and
3 or 4 times
and
ran over by a car. Hawkins is dead.
He is alive.
Hawkins is realistically a dead man.
Yes.
Especially since he's probably been laying there for hours, bleeding. And
sorry to the people at the kill count who keep having to change things every time they bring back someone who should be dead.
Yes, sorry, James and Chelsea over there at Dead Meat doing the kill counts, having to recount everything because of sequels. But but I'm glad Hawkins is back. I mean, Hawkins is a good character. I think that is definitely a moment where they're like, fuck, we killed a good character. How can we kind of go back on that a little bit? All right, we're just going to have to ask people to kind of suspend their realism for a moment because it's a movie, which I can do. It's a movie, so.
Yeah, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, babe, but they kind of go in between Cameron trying to help the officer and then the scene where they're driving Lori to the hospital and she's yelling at
No, they don't cut.
Back. Okay.
No, so they stay with Cameron and we go right into the first flashback sequence.
Oh, yes, that's right. Sorry.
Because Hawkins is like, it needs to die.
That's right. You're right.
And so we go into the first flashback sequence, and guys, the best part about this movie are these flashback sequences. Oh my God. I don't know who thought of all these things that they did in this movie for the flashback. I don't know who thought of it. I don't know who thought of, let's do blue lighting again. And then the set designers.
It feels like the original set.
The set designers, they made the Myers house from scratch, you guys. From scratch. It was a set piece that they remade, and it looks just like the 78 house that was an actual house they shot in. Like, come on, you guys. Come on. That is fandom. That is dedication.
And they basically made it twice, too, because they had to do the old-fashioned version one, and they had to do the remodeled one.
Big John and Little John.
Yeah, Big John and Little John, which I love those characters.
I know so many people. Like, for some reason, Big John and Little John are 50-50. It's polarizing for some people, but for me, Big John and Little John are awesome characters. They're quality actors.
Yeah.
And
They feel like a couple, even though they're not on the screen for very long. You feel like them as a couple, and you feel like they're different personalities, even though they're not on the screen very long.
Right. And, that is one thing that this movie, I think, does really well, is its characters. But, going back to the flashback sequences, we get Hawkins's experience capturing Michael, because in 2018, Sartain says that Hawkins was the first responding officer on 78, and he was there, he was the one that apprehended Michael, and we get to see that and how that played out. And then, of course, we have the Dr. Loomis deepfake. Oh my God. I don't know if you guys have seen the behind-the-scenes stuff and the documentaries about how they got this done. Essentially, they had a sound guy or a set guy. He's a guy on the set. He's doing sound, or he's setting up the set somehow. Guy in the background, basically, right? And some guy's just like, we got a guy that looks a lot like Donald Pleasance back here. Just casually in mention, We got a scene here with Dr. Loomis. We don't know how we're going to do it. And then this guy's like, this guy over here, he looks a lot like Donald Pleasance. If we could just put him in some makeup, we could probably make him look just like Dr. Loomis. God, you guys, that's insane. And then the new book that just came out for the Halloween trilogy has a whole section on how they did the Loomis deepfake for Halloween Kills. I recommend that you grab that book, you read it. It's incredible. But, yeah, he looks almost just like Dr. Loomis, Donald Pleasance. It's so good. And then the flashback mask is... what are we even talking about here? Come on. That's the best mask probably in this trilogy. And it's on screen for 5 minutes. It's insane.
And then going into the mask Michael Myers has after the fire is
the burnt mask.
Amazing. And it almost gives him an expression almost in this film. A lot of people say that it's he's angry.
To me, it's not even so much that it's anger. It's more sinister. It makes it more sinister, makes it more evil, makes it more demonic. However you want to kind of describe that. It's not necessarily an anger. Michael's definitely seems angrier in this movie that he got trapped and almost burnt alive, but it adds this creepiness. It adds this, like I said, I think the best way to describe it is sinister. It's so diabolic. It's just, they did it. Christopher Nelson knocked it out of the park again with the mask. Talking about lighting again, because when you watch some of the older Halloween sequels, and we talked a little bit about this before, the masks were just netted. The eyes were netted off, so they didn't have to, because I don't know what it was. I guess people just couldn't figure out how to light the mask, so then you didn't see the eyes when you didn't want to see the eyes. But in this trilogy, these guys do a really good job.
Yeah, no netting their mask.
No netting the eye holes to simulate lighting effects, but... they did a really good job with the lighting on this, because when you don't want to see his eyes and he's killing people, he's got the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. And then but when the moments when you do see his eyes, it's well done, because when he's killing the elderly couple and he's staring at Sandra, so she's trying to get out, and his eyes kind of flash quickly to the light bulb, and you're like, what is he looking at? Why? Where is he going? What is he seeing? What is he thinking? This is Michael Myers we're talking about. What is he looking at? Oh, and that
scene where he has his wife, I like that it's from her perspective. It's kind of genius, the way they set up that scene, where she's still, gargling the blood in her throat after he just stabs a light bulb into her neck.
Couple tears are falling down her cheek.
And she's watching Michael Myers drag her husband, throw him on the counter, and just stab after stab with the knives that they have on their wall. Just that scene, it's amazing. And I don't know what else to say about that scene, but it's a very
Besides
well done.
That it's elder abuse.
It's elder abuse.
It's elder abuse. But even though Michael is 63, 63, 64, or something like that by this time.
I think it's murder, but
I mean, it's murder, but it's also elder abuse.
I think the top crime here is murder.
I think the top crime here is that they had Cheez-Its and wine. I've never heard of that before, but I guess that's what they do before they get a little, you know what I'm saying? But
no, just that scene, I think it's genius to have it from her perspective as she's sitting there. She can't do anything, just watching Michael stab her husband.
No, and it's, again, like a lot of people criticize, why didn't you just continue unlocking the door and bolt it? Yeah. I mean, that's what you do. I mean, you're in that situation, you just unlock the fucking door, your husband's dead. Bye. Sorry, I'll warn you later. Chief, I'm getting out of here. But, you know, it's Halloween Kills. Yeah. It's kills for a reason. There's a lot of dead people in this movie. We skipped the firefighter scene.
Oh, yeah. We did skip the firefighter scene.
And the firefighter scene is right after... It's shortly after, it's right after the first flashback sequence, because then we go to Lori in the truck, and she's like, let it burn, and then the firefighters are like, I'm saving people, and you saved the wrong motherfucker. And,
yes, let him burn.
Yep.
No.
And, yeah, that's just a well-choreographed scene. I'm sure most Halloween fans or fans of horror have seen the behind-the-scenes of James Jude Courtney practicing that scene with stunt guys.
Getting hit with a fire hose.
I mean, it was very well set up, and it starts the tone of this movie, and you're like, okay, Michael Myers is here to fuck shit up because he just killed the entire Haddonfield Fire Department, so don't have fires anymore. Anybody, don't light any fires, don't light your house on fire, don't have any more accidents, just don't do it.
Yeah, because the fire department will not be there for you.
There is no fire department. So, but, yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. I mean, everyone knows the firefighter scene that's iconic.
It was in one of
point.
the trailers too. They started one of the trailers with the firefighter scene.
Yeah, I mean, it's iconic at this point, the firefighter scene. So not too much there. It's great.
It is amazing.
And yeah, then we get to the second act of the movie-ish, where a lot of people kind of fall off on this movie. They criticize the mob mentality. They don't like the hospital sequences, and I get it, guys. I get it. If you hear Evil Dies Tonight and you're asleep one more time, you're probably going to murder somebody. I can understand that. I get it. It doesn't bother me. I don't care. I like it. I don't care. But
see, and I am of like an extreme opposite almost, where I actually appreciate the mob mentality. I like the way that they did it because it's a more realistic, like it's what would happen if a mob breaks out. You can't control it, which is what I really like about it. And I've talked to Cedric many times about how I feel like it's almost like an homage and like throwback to Halloween 4, because in that movie there is a bit of a mob. It's not like a huge group of people.
It's mostly like the
people at the bar,
the hillbillies, getting their guns and trucks, and
they're like
creating a lynch mob essentially, which again, that even harkens all the way back to Frankenstein.
Yeah.
So,
but and I like that they almost, it felt like, I don't know if this is what they were actually trying to do, but it felt like it was an homage to that, to me, because it reminds me so much of it, especially with like the innocent person dying.
The guilt.
Yeah, the guilt from it.
The hysteria.
Yeah. And so I like it for that reason. And also, like, some people, I know one of Cedric's friends didn't realize, oh, wasn't he a bad guy anyway? No. He was in a mental institution, and a lot in the 2018 one, they mentioned that everyone who was on that bus had petty crimes. They've done
minor offenders, mental illness patients.
Exactly, except for Michael Myers.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, and I get it. Everyone critiques. Michael Myers is like 7 feet tall. That dude's like 5 feet tall. But you got to think too. Most of the town's not seen Michael Myers. And also, most of the town doesn't know what he looks like. Most of the town doesn't know that he wears a mask. Probably through stories they do at this point, but still, again, nobody knows what he looks like.
But also, when they did the pictures on the TV of the two people, or two inmates, or not inmates, patients, two patients that were still missing, when they did that on the news in the bar, they did it side by side. So literally they showed one and then they showed the other. So it's so easy to get them mixed up. Like,
yeah,
memories are
fickle. And they even play off of that too. If you watch the extended cut, there's a cut scene where Tivoli, the inpatient, is walking through the courtyard, and everyone's kind of like, is that the guy on the TV, if you listen closely to their whispers? Now, I get it, guys. I can understand that that's a criticism. And you know what? It's a legit criticism. But for me and for Jess, obviously here we can get past it. We can understand what they were setting up, and we're all right with it. I mean, it's a
I'm
good
more
scene.
than all right with it.
She loves it. I'm all right with it. I enjoy the scene.
I literally cried.
Yeah, she cried the first time in theaters.
I was bawling my eyes out at that scene.
Yeah, it's a sad scene, and and I think my only real criticism is that after watching it tonight and knowing the next movie, unfortunately, I can almost see a connection now to Halloween Ends with the mob mentality and the evil. He's turning us into monsters. I see it in here more. I see the setup a little bit more. I mean, there's still.
I don't think they really set up for the Ends though, because originally Ends was supposed to be the same exact night.
No, but I'm saying like I can see it now. I can make that connection knowing what Ends is, right? It's a hindsight thing.
They
it's
took
not
it too literal in Ends though. In this one, it was more.
But what I'm saying is with Kills, knowing what Ends is now, because with Kills we had no idea what was coming.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we have Ends is going to permeate your watching of 2018 and Kills a little bit, knowing that this is a trilogy, and knowing that Ends is a lot about infectious evil and trauma. I can see with the town especially, which is what they were going for, that evil is infectious. There was a little bit, you could make the argument. I don't agree with it, but you could make the argument that evil was infecting them in that moment in Kills. It was started there.
Yeah.
You could make that argument. That's all I'm saying. And so, and that's another thing too, is knowing that Ends exists now, and we know what Ends is. There's some things that I try not to let Ends take away from Kills a little bit, or even 2018, but knowing what we get in Ends, it does bring down these other two movies a smidge, only because of what it leads to and what they're how they tried to connect the dots.
To
we don't
me,
but
when I watch Kills, it's the end. That's it.
Jess's timeline ends at Kills, and I don't blame her for it.
No, but honestly, I'm not gonna let them ruin a really good movie.
And I'm not saying I do let it ruin it for me. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I know. It's just sad because it takes away from it even a little bit.
It can.
But something I wanted to point out too, I know characters are not everyone's favorite in this film, but I think they did a good job, like they did in 2018, of making you not rooting for people to die. You want the characters to live.
I don't know. I mean, with how mad some people got at this movie, I'm pretty sure they wanted the entire mob to die so they would stop chanting "Evil dies tonight." So. Some people, I think, would view it differently, but I can see what you're saying.
He didn't kill anyone in the mob, though.
No, I'm not saying...
The main characters that actually came out...
I'm not saying the reason you want him to die is because of any, reason that you're like, yeah, please, God, just kill him. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is I'm sure, other people were so upset that they're like, please just fucking kill these people so I don't have to hear Evil Dies Tonight one more time. Again, that's not it for me. I don't care. I like to chant Evil Dies Tonight. I mean, it's dramatic. And again, kind of hearkening back to... another criticism, which is Laurie Strode. My only criticism of Laurie Strode in this movie is that she's not in it all that much, and she's sidelined, like Halloween 2. I don't get why we didn't learn our lesson from Halloween 2. 1981, which the biggest criticism of that was Laurie Strode was sidelined for the movie, basically.
Well, and I think...
until the end.
I think the thing was there as well.
I didn't even think she was more sidelined in Kills than in Halloween 2, because in Halloween 2 we get a little bit more screen time with her. She's trying to escape. She's, running from him. We get a little bit more time with her and Michael together in Halloween 2 than we do even in... She doesn't even see Michael in Kills.
Breathe, babe.
She doesn't even see Michael in Kills. So that's my biggest criticism.
No, with Laurie, before watching Ends, it almost felt like they were making her the Loomis, because she had a lot of
that's what I was getting to. Sorry.
Yeah.
is the Shakespearean language.
Yeah, it almost felt like they were making her the Loomis of the film, and in the original 2018, he didn't really do much until the very end of the movie.
I'm pretty sure they were making Laurie the new Loomis. I mean, she's saying
very Shakespearean.
The first time I watched the movie in the theater, I was like, oh, Laurie is Loomis. That was my first initial thought. Now I get it. You can have all kinds of feelings about it, but she is the veteran character, the veteran character.
And she's she's the one convincing people that he is not human. He is pure evil. And
She's the only one that's seen him outside of Hawkins, but Hawkins sees him briefly in apprehending him and chasing him as a police officer. Laurie sees Michael Myers just as Loomis did. And so, yeah, to me, that's not a bad thing. And to me, it adds to the movie because Loomis in 78, the blackest eye is the devil's eyes, folks. That's what Laurie does in Halloween Kills. I mean, that's the more he kills, the more he transcends. That gave me goosebumps. Just as the blackest eye is the devil's eyes gave me goosebumps. Not on the same level. Like that, the blackest eye is the devil's eyes is way more iconic line.
Way more.
But still, that to me is not a critique of the film, in my opinion. I can get why people might be off-put by it, but at the end of the day, it serves the same purpose as a Loomis does.
Yeah. Well, and when I was talking about like the characters and how you didn't really want anyone to die, like you didn't want the kids to die, you didn't want the nurse and the doctor to die, you didn't want the original characters, the legacy characters, the legacy characters to die, and I think that's what kind of sets it apart. Too is it's just like the original 1978. Sorry, I almost said 2018. It's just like the original 1978 where you like the characters that they're putting into the film and you don't want them to die. You're not like, oh yeah, if that asshole would just die.
Right. No, it doesn't do that. But, and then of course we go into the third act of the film, and I mean, again, Michael Myers, we're focused back on Michael Myers. He's in his house. He's killed Big John and Little John.
And I love how he poses them, like the photo that they have.
Yep, with the music going on in the background. I know we kind of skipped over the playground scene, but overall, I mean, I really liked the playground scene. It was a good horror action sequence, if you will. Lots of choreography and stunt work in that. A lot of reverse shots, just like in 78 when Michael kills the German Shepherd, that was shot in reverse. Here and kills the knife in the eyeball, that was shot in reverse. And so that was really well done. I know the gun kill was a little comedic. the slamming the car door to the gun as it was fired.
One of my least favorite kills of this one, just because of how
it is my least favorite kill.
Ridiculous it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even more so than like the skeleton kid getting killed off screen, because that look. I mean, his mask is coated in blood. Like
coated.
I don't even know what happened, but
yeah, because there's not a head in it. It's just the mask.
It's just the mask. You don't even know what happened to this kid. You just know he got fucking murked. And so in the third act, Lonnie's going into the house. Lonnie gets killed off screen.
Also disappointing for me.
Yeah, because we like Lonnie. We like the actor who plays Lonnie.
And
I unfortunately can't remember the actor's name at this point, so I apologize for that. But he did really well with the character of Lonnie.
But we just sit in the car with the kids, and I don't understand why that's more important. They're not even saying anything. I think Allison says one thing. She's like, "This is fucked."
Well, it builds tension, and we're wondering what's happened to Lonnie. So it's more of that what you don't see, your mind's gonna fill in the blanks. So I can appreciate it for that, but it is a little bit of a strange
choice
in the third act there.
Yeah.
But luckily they don't also hang on for it for too long. Like Lonnie goes in.
It's literally like 2 seconds.
Later,
no, it's not even. It's like 2 seconds.
You hear
go
a
by.
gunshot,
and then they're like, "Okay, let's go."
Right, and so and that whole sequence, Cameron's death is fucking brutal. That was insane. And Allison getting fucked up on the stairs, Karen coming to save her. That's all good. I mean, that was a great sequence.
Really great sequence.
You didn't know if Allison was going to get it right there. I mean, I was pretty sure she wasn't, but again, they've shown you that they're killing everyone.
Yes, they're like, we don't care who it is. We're just demolishing everyone.
Right. And, and then we've got the mob scene, and Michael gets beat up, and then he kills everybody, and that's a great scene. And that brings me to the highlight of this entire trilogy, in my opinion, which is the goddamn music. John Carpenter was out of his fucking mind. Now, I know a lot of people will just criticize, be like, it's the same thing, Cedric. No. It's the same theme. And I'm like, okay, it's the same chord progression, but he adds things to each movie that make the Halloween theme unique to those movies. And whatever he did in that with the bowstring on the guitar, and he
That
did
was
that
so
again
good.
in Kills for that mob scene. Oh my god! And then Michael's putting on the mask. Gives me goosebumps every time.
Yeah.
Goosebumps every time. Yeah, and he murks the whole mob.
I know, and
Fantastic scene. Now I get, sorry, babe, but I get that the kills were kind of cut in flash sequences. Like you don't see a lot of choreography. It's Michael slow mo flash cuts killing people. I get why a lot of people were like, that seemed kind of cheap. I kind of agree. It does seem a little cheap after all the choreography we've gotten in his kills, and that was a whole mob scene. But it also fits because Laurie's monologuing over that scene in the background. The more he kills, the more he transcends. You can't kill him with brute force, etc., etc. So, I mean, yeah, overall.
well, and I was just gonna say in that scene, it's interesting too because at first he's like getting all beat up and he's on the ground. He's been shot several times. He was stabbed in the back. Right before this, he was stabbed with a pitchfork in his back. Was stabbed several times in the stomach
Curb
by
stomped.
Allison. Yeah.
By Karen on the stairs.
Yeah, in his head. And he goes out to this mom, gets shot several times, gets stabbed who knows how many times, hit with a baseball bat, hit with just
A piece of wood.
Piece of wood, yeah.
Plywood.
And then as soon as fucking Karen leaves, he's like, okay, it's time. Grabs the knife out of his back, slicing people's throats.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
Yeah, and it's a good sequence. I was surprised they killed Tommy.
I was too, actually.
You know, I mean, sadly, it doesn't fucking matter with the third movie, but just
I was surprised. I thought he would continue into the next one, or he'd go warn them that, hey, something like Michael started killing everyone.
right. Well, you know, I think with the ending they went right because they killed Karen.
I
And
was
so
so sad when they killed her.
I was sad, but I was like, all right, they had the balls to do it. Like,
And
what's that gonna do to Allison and Laurie in the next movie?
Honestly, I really liked her. She was the only one who was reasonable this whole friggin' film. Only one who was like, hey, maybe this mob isn't a great idea. Hey, maybe just going out and trying to hunt Michael Myers is not a good idea. Maybe we should let some authority figures figure that out.
Right.
She's the only one with any... she's advocating for her family. She's trying to keep everyone safe. She's like the mom of the movie. She's being a mom in this whole movie, just like trying to protect people, trying to do the right thing. And I was just so sad when she died right at the end.
Yeah. But, you know, I think overall, I love this movie. I think I can't remember what I gave 2018 at this point, but I think I'm going to give Kills, I mean, it's got to be a 4.5 out of 5 tombstones for me.
I think you might have done the same for
2018.
Yeah, I think you might.
That makes sense. They're almost the same movie to me.
Well, for me, I'll have to give it a 4.5 as well. I really love this film. It's not above 2018 for me. That one is, I believe I gave it a 5 as well, because I love it just as much as the original. Not just as much. I would always put the original over it, but it gives me goosebumps every time I see it. Every single time I see it. It just feels like just up my spine. So good. It's like a chef's kiss. They did so well in 2018, and it was a great sequel, and I enjoy watching it almost as much as I enjoy watching the original film. So for Kills, I give it a 4.5. I can't apparently think right now. I give it a 4.5. It's super fun. Love watching Michael do his thing. And I love the messages that they were doing, still being true to some of the original sequels, putting in those little Easter eggs as always. And yeah, I enjoy it.
All right, guys. Well, you heard it here. We like Halloween Kills. It's got the thumbs up. And join us next time for Halloween Ends, the conclusion to the Halloween movie reviews until Miramax decides what they want to do with the franchise.
Yeah.
So, you know, they made a movie, and we'll talk about it.
They
so,
did make a movie.
You know, And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Stay creepy, everybody. Thanks for watching.